Good morning. It's a little chillier morning this morning, and it's wet. Yesterday it was so nice. You know, these big rock slabs that are around here everywhere. It was so nice just being able to run around up and down on those without worrying about slipping. I was really hoping my luck would hold out, but it rained last night, substantially actually. But you know, good news is it stopped like it often does. Early this morning before I got up, so really everything, you know, was dried up, my tent and all that kind of stuff. But got to be a little more careful moving around today on these slick rocks. Anyway, not a huge day today. Got this, I think I mentioned, I can't remember if I mentioned yesterday, but got this kind of, these weird areas called Mahoosuc Notch and Mahoosuc Arm. And I'll deal with those later, but I get to those tomorrow. I do not want to do them at the end of the day today, and you'll see why when I get there, but as a result, again, I'm only going to do maybe like 15, 16 miles today and stop at a shelter. And so, it's a good morning view right there, huh? Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, it won't be a huge day. Kind of do like yesterday, you know, take my time and enjoy and just get where I need to go. So, let you know if I see anything that is worth recording. Hey, I have a very valuable piece of advice for everyone. If you go on a long hike and you buy a guide that is supposed to help you find your way, read the guide and follow it. I just spent like 20 minutes wandering around that beautiful, stupid pond down there, trying to figure out where the trail was. And I finally figured it out. And then, just to make sure, I was looking at what was coming up and whatever, I pulled out my guide. Hey, the very next entry, Page Pond. Turn east when you get to the pond. It is not marked. Great. So, anyway. Moronic. But I'm heading up to Walk-It Ledge, which is supposed to have some cool views. I'll be there shortly. I'm not quite up to Walk-It Ledge yet, or maybe I am walking out on it now, but anyway, I just crossed paths with two guys going the other way, going southbound, and they were real nice guys, but it's fortuitous for both of us because I told them about the pond path, so they won't make that mistake. And they have already been through this whole area. So all these trees that are overgrown on the trail, that are soaking wet, that have been getting me drenched all morning, are now much drier because they already came through here. Nope, not out on the ledge yet. This weather the past 2 days has been absolutely amazing. Could not have asked for more. I mean, it's been cool and breezy, and the sun has been behind the clouds largely. Come out, you know, just a few times to give you a little beam of light. I mean, the rain has almost entirely stayed away during the days. So, boy, it's just been fantastic, and it's part of what's making it a little hard for me to slow down right now, you know. Like I only did whatever I did yesterday, 14, 15 miles, something. And then I'll only do about that today probably. And it's kind of hard because I'm thinking, you know, maybe I should be taking advantage of this weather, you know. Hiked 20 yesterday and hiked 20 today, you know, while it's so nice and everything, so. But anyway, I'm just grateful for this weather and enjoying it immensely. Yeah. Well, I'm at the top of Mount Success, and it was a lot harder than I expected it to be. But it was good. Feel good. It is really chilly. It has gotten a lot chillier, and I am sweating like crazy, so that's not good. I mean, it's good. It's keeping me cool, but need to get down off that mountain. Woo! That was a nice little elevator ride down. Yeah, just need to not stay out here because I'm freezing in the wind. Anyway, I gotta find the way down. It's one of these paths here, but day's going well. Still hasn't rained. Fingers crossed. I'm just hoping. All right, I'm gonna put this down and figure out my way out. Whew, it's blowing in fast. That's where I was just at like 30 seconds ago. It's all fogged in. I'm still up here. Looking for rock cairns. I can figure out how to get down. I think there's one up there. I'll head towards that. Oh man, that was a nice warm something that just blew in. Weird. Oh, that feels good. All right. In summer 2019, a little over 2 years ago, I started in Georgia, and over the past, in those 2 summers, I did Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, and Pennsylvania. Then this year I came back out, finished Pennsylvania, and did Connecticut, which I had never been to. That's the one state I had never been to that I did. And then Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and for the first time in my life, I'm about to step into Maine. I've never been to Maine, and now I have. This sign says 282 miles to Katahdin. I'm starting to feel it. My 0 day's coming up soon, and I can tell I need it bad. All right, a few more miles. I think I'm gonna stop for lunch soon, though. I don't know if you can see it right there, but there's a blaze on that tree. And then turn around, there's one on this tree. There's one on that tree. There's one up ahead on that tree. I mean, they're like, you know, I don't know, 30 feet apart, maybe not even. Maybe. Anyway, it's funny just because I'm now in Maine. I don't know whether Maine takes it this seriously or, you know, whether it just happens to be in this one section. Somebody's painted a whole bunch. But what really sets it apart, what really makes it noticeable is New Hampshire hated blazes. I mean, there were actually places where they refused to have any blazes. There were some of the, I think the Gulf Wilderness area has no blazes whatsoever. So you just follow along, at least no white blazes. There were a couple of times where they had some different color blazes, which was weird. Sometimes they had those cairns. But then even where they did allow blazes, I mean, you might hike along for, well, just this morning. I mean, there were probably at least 5 times where the trail was so narrow, so overgrown, so many trees laying down across it, that you're really not sure you're still on the trail. Might be some side trail somebody cut or something, you know, some lesser trail. And man, sometimes I'd walk, you know, 10 minutes before I'd find a blaze and just go, oh, hallelujah, because, you know, a lot of times you're going 10 minutes straight uphill or straight downhill. You don't want to have to do that again. But anyway, here, man, all you have to do is just close your eyes, open them, and there's another blaze. Close them and open them, there's another one. Maybe a little overkill, but I'd take this over that. Doubt you'll be able to hear this over the wind. But, so this is where I came from back there. And it's really cool because usually you cannot really trace your path very well because the trees are so tall and everything. But since this is nearly above tree line, the trees are really short. I've been able to watch the whole time, like right over there, right in that area. You see some of the mountains on the ground. That's where I was at about, I don't know, 30 minutes ago. And I came from that ridge up. I got up to there, I could look back on the north side. Where I come from. And I was over there. I was able to look over to this ridge and see, or this mountain, this peak, and see like this huge telephone pole ladder that I was going to need to climb. And so I was just up there 15 minutes ago. And if you look really closely, you can see the path coming down the side that I just did in the last 15 minutes. Just right in there in the middle. And just keep over there. So here I am. Goose Mountain or Full Goose Mountain or Goose Eye Mountain or something. Not a very good narrator. Well, maybe a good narrator. I just don't have the knowledge to tell you what the heck's going on. And looks to me like I'll be heading off that direction. You can see the path. My campsite's only a couple miles away. Well, that was just about the coolest thing. So, you may have seen in that very last video snippet, there were a couple of people with backpacks on, you know, just down at the bottom of the shot, going down the mountain. Well, once I got down there, it looked like they were just standing still and like they were videoing something, like maybe they saw something or something. But when I got down there, I realized there were like, I don't know, 20 people or maybe 15 people. And they all had these huge backpacks on. And it's, so I talked to them a little bit. They're an outward bound program, which is cool. And they were going down a really steep, you know, hairy kind of area. So, you know, I just stood and talked to some of them in the back while the rest of them went. And then eventually we all got to go. And I, you know, it was probably 25 minutes or 20 minutes I was there, which kind of sucked. But still, it was really cool because I got to talk to everybody. And they were all really neat, you know, 2 instructors and then a whole bunch of participants, you know, kids that, you know, whatever, anyway. And so they had some questions for me. Were really interested in the through hiking thing. I tried to explain to them that I'm a lasher, not a through hiker. Well, I guess I did explain. They got it. Okay, came across another couple hikers, so I had to shut that down. But anyway, so I talked to them for a long time, and then when they all finally got down that kind of crazy little area, then they all stopped and turned around and watched me go down it. And, you know, I mean, I'm no different than any other hiker out here. You know, you hiked like 1,000 miles on the trail. You learn a couple of things. So I just went down it the way I would go down it. And they're all like, man, that's the way to do it, you know, because, you know, this is like their second day ever hiking. So it was, I mean, I can't even believe they were trying to go down that thing, honestly. But anyway, then when I got down, they all made room and moved over to the side so I could get by. And by then, you know, I'd told them my whole story because we'd been there for so long. And so they all started, here now I'm going to slide and show how inept I really am. Whoa. So they all started clapping and going, congratulations on your achievement. And it was just really sweet and really nice. And yeah, kind of brightened my day. Back and I see all my new friends right in that spot. All the outward bound people hiking down. So that's pretty cool. guys earlier, but this morning I kind of told myself if I could get to campsite here by real close to 2-ish, definitely by 2 and maybe even slightly after, that I would really seriously contemplate doing Mahoosuc Notch tonight. Probably doing it. Well, it is 3:20 now, and I don't know where the campsite is, but it's not right here. It's at least another 15 minutes, if not 30 minutes away. So I don't think I'm doing it. It's the reason I picked 2 is because I just don't know what the terrain's like here, and it's so weird. You just don't know when you see even if just a slight gradual incline or decline descent, you just don't know. Is that going to take me 30 minutes because it's easy, it's a trail, it's a hiking trail, or it's going to take me an hour and a half because it's just boulders and I put everything down and just basically rock climb for an hour and a half. So what I said, so Mahoosuc Notch is basically like a mile. It's not exactly, it's a little more, but anyway, it's basically like a mile from the campsite. And then the notch itself, everybody says in dry weather, will take you a couple hours to do. It's just 1 mile, but it'll take at least a couple hours. So then it's at least a mile to the next campsite. Or I could still, either way, I'm talking at least 2.5 hours total. That's like the absolute ridiculous minimum, and possibly more like 4. Well, if it was 2 o'clock and I knew I could get into camp like no later than 6, kind of worst case scenario, I would do that. But now we're talking 7:20, worst case scenario, and that's if I were there right now, which I'm not. So I'm just gonna go to camp and call it a night. All right, here's my shelter, and there's not a soul here. I don't know what that means. Sometimes it means the water source is bad or the place is overrun with mice, but I don't care. I'm here and I'm done. And it's about, I don't know what, it's a little after 4 o'clock, and yeah, I'm gonna eat and get to sleep really early tonight. Tomorrow, Mahoosuc Notch. We'll get to see what that's all about. Bye.